Hello everybody! Infernape Shinjo here, and welcome back to the next episode of Let's Talk Anime. I'm not sure what order these videos are going to come out in, but I've thought a bit of special little videos that I could do outside of requests that I can talk about anime with. And so that's where today's video comes in. Today, I'm going to talk about anime that I didn't expect to like, which is kind of a weird concept, but it actually works in the concept of what I'm going to be discussing in this video. Now, I can't remember where this idea popped into my head. It might have been from an Isla McTeer video, or it might have been something entirely different. What I'm talking about is the 3-episode rule, which basically means when you start an anime, watch the first 3 episodes of it, and if you aren't invested into it by that point, then you can go on to something else. Now, granted, I've been kind of half-hearted on where I'll actually use that rule and times I won't, but these 3 are kind of special in that case, whereas I went into them kind of expecting not to like them, but I ended up liking them a whole lot. Now I handpicked 3 for this video, but I can imagine that there are probably a lot more, at least in my case, but I didn't want to take up too much time, and these 3 are the most drastic out of the ones I can think of. But without wasting any more time, let's start with Comic Girls. I know I've already discussed Comic Girls on my channel before, back when I was talking about the anime that I'm watching from this season, but basically Comic Girls is exactly what it says on the label. A group of girls that write manga. And going into it, you might be thinking, okay, this is just going to be another one of those, I can't remember what it is. Cute girls doing cute things, that's what it is. But when you go into it, you might think, oh, this is just another slice of life show. But through the 10 episodes that I've watched so far, there are some heartwarming moments that are sprinkled into it. Especially with all 4 of the main girls' personalities. Honestly, they're so realistic that I could easily see a character like that in real life. And I can't remember what episode it was. It is the episode where Moeta goes off to basically look around at anime and stuff like that. And then near the middle half of the episode, she finds out that the other girls were more or less tracking her or something like that. I can't remember how it actually was. But basically, Moeta gets all flustered when she talks about all this anime that she just adores, which I just find really great, because for the most part in the show, she's been kind of the shy sort of character, because every anime has to have a character like that, right? But in the episode, she is so passionate about talking about anime and all that stuff that she just flies off the handle and just lets it all loose, which kind of sounds weird when I say that out loud. But honestly, I can imagine seeing somebody like that, especially in real life. Somebody that talks about anime that much that they just lose track of time and forget what they were even starting to talk about. But I don't know. More or less at the core, I went into Comic Girls, and even in a couple of episodes, I was thinking, do I really still want to watch this? I'm not the biggest fan of it. But then you throw those heartwarming moments in there, and I am on board. The next anime that I'm going to be talking about, oh, we're doing this again. Skilled Teaser Takagi-san. I remember that I messed up on pronouncing this before, and I'm not going to do it again. Now, unlike Comic Girls, I didn't watch Skilled Teaser when it immediately came out. Actually, I waited until the winter season was done until I even watched it. Don't ask me why, I just wasn't that invested in the show or the concept until later. But because of an Isla video that I watched talking about the winter anime, I knew what the plot of it was basically going to be. So I was kind of thinking, okay, how are they going to make this interesting and, in a better sense of explaining it, not make Takagi feel overpowered? Because the basic plot of it is Nishikata is a boy, Takagi is a girl. Takagi always gets the upper hand on Nishikata. He tries to embarrass her, doesn't work, blows up in his face. And even with a concept like that, they make it so it's not always the same thing over and over again. They find ways to mix it up to make it so it's not redundant, which I find really cool, because with a concept of like that, with Takagi always giving the upper hand on Nishikata, you could easily turn that into a show that's just stale to watch, just because it's like, oh, Takagi wins again, cool. Especially in the last episode of it, I think that Nishikata might have actually won, because it looked like Takagi did get embarrassed. I don't know, they never really actually showed it, so I guess they're holding out on that in case there's a second season, which I would be on board with. But the last anime for this video is Daily Lives of High School Boys. And this one is a very interesting one. Actually, first of all, before I get into my background with the show, let me just say that after watching the show, I've watched the show, so I know from example, this show is more or less the male version of Pop Team Epic. Not as far as the throwing memes in your face and stuff like that, but it's just a group of guys goofing off. And it's actually funny to think that, because these two shows didn't even come around in the same time frame. High School Boys was, I think, 2015? I'm not entirely sure, maybe 2016. But my background with the show was I watched it early last year because a friend suggested it to me, and I stopped watching it midway through episode 1 because I really wasn't interested in this show at all. Remember what I said earlier about how I don't even follow my 3-episode rule? There you go. But a few months back, I decided to return to the show, and after watching it, I kind of became a little more interested in it. I think the main problem with it is I went into the show expecting a super plot-heavy show, but like I said, it's just 3 main characters and their friends just goofing off everyday life. Daily Lives of High School Boys. I don't know why I expected something different from a show that's called Daily Lives. But the funny thing is, even with everything that I did just say, I watched through all of Daily Lives of High School Boys, yet I haven't barely touched Pop Team Epic. I watched like maybe the first few episodes of it when it first came out, but I didn't finish the rest of the show. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just that I prefer Daily Lives of High School Boys, or I'm not a fan of Pop Team Epic, or a combination of the two. I guess when it comes down to shows like Daily Lives of High School Boys and Pop Team Epic, you gotta be kind of in the mood, because it's literally just nonsense. Especially from what I've seen with Pop Team Epic, you kind of have to be in the mood to be like laughing your butt off. But that's gonna be today's Let's Talk Anime episode. Make sure to leave any suggestions for Let's Talk Anime down in the comment section, and let me know what anime you watched that you went into not expecting to like, but ending up liking anyway. I guess in a weird way, I can kind of have honorable mentions of the Unova region of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, because I don't know entirely why, other than the obvious reasons that everybody always points out, but everybody absolutely hates Unova and Zexal's guts. Honestly, the shows were fine for me, but I figured to at least mention them now that I'm thinking about it. But that's going to be today's video. Make sure to mock punch that like button if you enjoyed all the stuff that I mentioned already. I will see you in the next video. Have an awesome day, everybody.